the greatest season opener in WNBA history? Because Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever didn't just show up, they shut it down. 11 records broke in one night. Yeah, you heard that right, 11. From logo threes to savage blocks to a historic triple-double, Clark went full video game mode. Aaliyah Boston turned the paint into a no-fly zone. And Angel Reese, let's just say, she got a front row seat to a basketball clinic. This wasn't a game. This was a statement. A blowout was so bad, Chicago's still trying to figure out what hit them. So if you thought the Caitlin Clark hype was just noise, think again. You do not want to miss this breakdown. Stick around, because we're about to unpack how the Fever just flipped the WNBA on its head. Before we get into all the action, take a quick moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. That way, you'll always stay updated on the latest WNBA news, big moves, and game breakdowns just like this. Don't miss out. We've got you covered. So go ahead, hit that like button, subscribe, and let's jump right in. Caitlin Clark led the Fever to a dominant 93-58 win over the Chicago Sky in the WNBA's opening weekend, with a triple-double that sent shockwaves across the basketball world.
It's only been 2 games into Caitlin Clark's sophomore season in the WNBA, and she already has the record for the most games with 25 points and 10 assists. Yes, the WNBA record.
Clark finished with 20 points, shooting 6 of 13 from the field, 4 of 8 from 3 and 4 of 4 from the line at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. She also stacked 10 rebounds, 10 assists, 4 blocks, and 2 steals. That's not just a stat line, it's a statement of intent. Clark recorded her 3rd career triple-double.
Caitlin Clark recorded her 6th game, scoring at least 25 points and getting 10 assists. And this breaks Liberty star Sabrina Ionescu's record of 5 games,
tying for 3rd most in WNBA history. And here's the wild part. She became the fastest player ever to reach 3 career triple-doubles, needing just 41 games. Diana Taurasi, she needed 565 games to post 9 games with 20-plus points and 10-plus assists. Clark did that in less than a season and a half. It's like she's rewriting the rulebook in real time. And this wasn't just about breaking records, it was about setting the tone. This is a new Caitlin Clark, one that's stronger, faster, and even more dangerous. Her decision-making looks sharper, her defense more aggressive. And despite the monster box score, Clark wasn't fully satisfied. We put up 93 points and won by 30, but I felt like we could still have been a lot better, so we go back to work. That hunger, that drive, that's the scariest part for every other team. While Caitlin Clark was grabbing all the headlines, and rightfully so, something just as legendary was happening on the same court, but way more under the radar. DeWanna Bonner, one of the most respected and consistent veterans in WNBA history, was quietly rewriting the history books. She came into the game needing just 7 points to pass Tina Thompson and claim her spot as the 3rd all-time leading scorer in the league. And guess what? She got them. Cool, calm, collected classic Bonner. Late in the 4th quarter, with the game already slipping out of Chicago's hands, Bonner stepped up to the free throw line. She knocked down both shots with ease, reaching an incredible 7,489 career points. The moment was simple, almost understated, but the crowd at Gainbridge Fieldhouse knew exactly what had just happened. As her name was announced and the graphic hit the scoreboard, the fans erupted in cheers. Bonner threw up her arms with a huge smile, soaking in the love and maybe reflecting on the journey that brought her there. To put this in perspective, she now only trails 2 legends, Diana Taurasi, 10,646, and Tina Charles, 7,696. That's it. That's the list. Bonner's been in the league since 2009. She's a 2-time WNBA champion, a 6-time All-Star, and now one of the top 3 scorers in the entire history of the league. That's not just a career, that's a legacy. What makes it even more impressive is how she's doing it. She's not just out there chasing stats. She's leading, mentoring, and setting the tone for a young Indiana squad that's full of potential. Her experience is invaluable, And when she talks in that locker room, players like Caitlin Clark, Aaliyah Boston, Lexi Hull, and Kelsey Mitchell are all ears. She brings wisdom, toughness, and a winning mentality that you just can't teach. Bonner's milestone wasn't flashy, but it was unforgettable. It was one of those moments where the past, present, and future of the league all came together. She showed us that even in a game filled with flashy plays and record-breaking performances, there's something truly special about consistency, longevity, and professionalism. That's DeWanna Bonner, and now she's officially part of the WNBA's all-time elite. If Caitlin Clark was the spark, then Aaliyah Boston was the anchor that kept everything steady and under control. From the opening tip to the final buzzer, Boston reminded every fan watching and every opponent on the floor why she's one of the most complete and dominant bigs in all of women's basketball today. Let's be honest, this game was hyped as the big showdown between Boston and Angel Reese, two South Carolina legends turned WNBA stars. And when the dust settled, there was no question who won that battle. Boston put on an absolute clinic. She finished with 19 points, 13 rebounds, and 5 blocks. But it wasn't just the numbers, it was how she did it. She moved with grace and power, always in the right position, always a step ahead. That kind of stat line isn't just rare, it's almost mythical. In fact, only one other player in the entire 28-year history of the WNBA has ever done that in a season opener: Natasha Howard in 2014. That's the level of greatness we're talking about. Angel Reese came in ready to make a statement. She had 17 rebounds and 12 points, but Boston made every single one of those buckets hard-earned. Reese shot just 5 for 14 from the field, struggling to get comfortable all game long. That's what happens when you're being guarded by a brick wall who also moves like a guard. Boston didn't just block shots, she redirected the entire flow of Chicago's offense. She boxed out with textbook form, she rotated like a veteran, and she kept her teammates locked in on defense. Every time the Sky thought they had a lane to the basket, Boston was there to shut it down. Her timing, her presence, her control, it was next-level dominance. And let's not forget the leadership. Boston wasn't just dominating physically, she was communicating, motivating, and orchestrating Indiana's defense like a seasoned pro. She's only in her third year, but she's already playing like a franchise cornerstone. With Clark running the perimeter and Boston locking down the post, Indiana might just have the most dangerous inside-out combo in the league.
Aaliyah going 1 or 2 from the line, but you don't question anything with Aaliyah. She was exceptional. Aaliyah was exceptional in this game. Kelsey was exceptional. Caitlin was exceptional.
This performance against the Sky wasn't just a win, it was a warning to the rest of the WNBA. Caitlin Clark's evolution this offseason was impossible to ignore.
Around that 15-foot area, Clark
connects! The first logo bomb of the season from Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark, you see just a great little rub screen by Elite Boston.
And honestly, it might be one of the most underrated storylines of her entire transformation. She didn't just train, she rebuilt herself, mentally, physically, and emotionally. Instead of taking the usual route of playing overseas or joining the inaugural season of Unrivaled, like some of her peers, Clark made a bold decision to hit pause on the games and focus on growth. She locked herself into the gym and the weight room, determined to come back stronger, tougher, and more durable than ever before. And when she returned, the results spoke for themselves. Fans and analysts alike couldn't stop talking about how jacked she looked during the Big Ten tournament. Twitter was flooded with side-by-side photos comparing her physique from her rookie season to now. People couldn't believe the difference. The biceps became a meme, a badge of honor, a symbol of the work she put in. But this wasn't just for show. That new muscle meant she could now hold her own against more physical defenders, absorb contact without losing balance, and even get this start swatting shots out of the air. Yup, 4 blocks in one game. And we're not talking about lucky tips or soft contests. These were real, emphatic rejections. Her timing was crisp, her footwork sharp, and her instincts better than ever. That's not just strength. That's confidence meeting preparation. She even had a little fun with it when reporters brought up the biceps buzz. People see one photo and kind of run with it, but I worked really hard, so at least they noticed. And let's be real, her strength may now be the secret weapon in her arsenal. We already knew she could shoot from the parking lot. We already knew she had vision like a quarterback and court awareness like a seasoned vet. But now, she's a two-way force. She can drop dimes, splash threes, and get back on D to erase a layup attempt. She's gone from being a target to being a problem, and that changes everything for the Fever.
Clark, 4 seconds left. Clark fires. You bet!
It's no longer enough for teams to just throw a strong guard at her and hope to slow her down. She can fight through screens, body up on defense, and finish through contact like never before. This version of Caitlin Clark, it's a whole new level. Whoa, you've made it this far. That must mean you're really enjoying the video, right? So why not take a quick second to hit that follow button? It's totally free, super simple, and helps us keep bringing you more awesome content, especially if you love the WNBA. Whether it's game highlights, player spotlights, or behind-the-scenes moments, we've got you covered. Plus, by following, you'll never miss a beat when it comes to your favorite teams and players. Go on, tap that follow now. All right, let's jump back in. By halftime, Indiana had built a 45-32 lead. Clark had already posted 12 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 blocks, and a steal. She ended the second quarter with a deep 25-foot three-pointer that had the whole arena on its feet. But the true story of the game was defense. The Fever held the Sky to under 30% from the field and just 22.2% from three. They dominated the paint 48-26. By the third quarter, Indiana had a 20-point lead. This wasn't just individual effort. This was team execution. The rotations were sharp. The help defense was on point. Boston and Clark's combined 9 blocks set a record for most by a guard-center duo in a season opener. And then came the moment that had Twitter, TikTok, and ESPN buzzing. Late in the third quarter, with the Fever leading 56-42, Clark committed a hard foul on Angel Reese, grabbing her arm and giving a firm shove. Reese bounced up furious, but before anything escalated, Aaliyah Boston stepped in, separating the two. The refs issued offsetting technicals. The rivalry was back. This wasn't just about a foul. This was a continuation of a storyline that began in college when Reese taunted Clark during LSU's 2023 national title win. Since then, their every move has been compared, analyzed, and magnified. Now in the WNBA, their rivalry is breathing new life into the league, pulling in casual fans and driving viewership through the roof. Indiana didn't just beat Chicago, they dismantled them. 93-58, a 35-point blowout, the second largest win in franchise history. It wasn't a fluke. It wasn't a lucky shooting night. It was dominating from start to finish. The Fever broke 11 records in a single game. Let's say that again, 11. That doesn't happen unless you have a roster clicking on all cylinders. Clark was elite. Boston was a wall. Bonner made history. Natasha Howard added 15 points. Kelsey Mitchell lit it up early, and the bench came in with fire. Even the Indiana Pacers were there with Tyrese Halliburton, Pascal Siakam, and more cheering from their suite. It's not just a team vibe, it's a whole city buying in. Let's take a step back and look at the numbers, because what Indiana Fever did wasn't just a hot start, it was historic. A total of 11 records were either broken or tied in a single game. That's the kind of stat sheet that makes WNBA historians stop and take notice. Let's break them down. First, 20-10-10 triple-double in a WNBA season opener, Caitlin Clark. Fastest to 3 career triple-doubles in league history, Clark, 41 games. Most triple-doubles through the first 41 games of a WNBA career, Clark. Most blocks by a point guard in a season opener, Clark, 4 blocks. Most combined blocks in a season opener by a guard-center duo, Clark and Boston, 9 total blocks. Second largest margin of victory in Indiana Fever franchise history, 35 points. Clark ties for second most 20-plus point, 10-plus assist games in league history, 9 games. Clark did it in just 41 games, compared to Diana Taurasi's 565 and Courtney Vandersloot's 430. Aaliyah Boston becomes 6th all-time in Fever franchise history for blocks. Boston moves into 8th all-time in Fever history for rebounds. DeWanna Bonner becomes 3rd on the WNBA's all-time scoring list with 7,489 points. This wasn't just a fun win, it was a league-shaking, history-rewriting performance. For one team to accomplish all of that in just 4 quarters? That's unheard of. And if this is just the start of their season, the rest of the league better be on high alert. If this is what the Fever look like in Game 1, imagine what they'll be by Game 20, or the playoffs. The chemistry is building, the confidence is growing, and the league, it better be paying close attention. And that's how you make a statement to start a season. The Indiana Fever didn't just win, they sent a message to the entire WNBA. Caitlin Clark's triple-double, Aaliyah Boston's dominance in the paint, DeWanna Bonner's making history, and 11 records. That's not just impressive, it's historic. If this is what Indiana looks like on opening night, just imagine what they'll look like mid-season. The potential is real, the chemistry is building, and the confidence? You can feel it growing with every possession. Thanks for watching, and if you made it this far, you're clearly just as locked in as we are. So don't forget, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Is the Fever the real deal this year? Let's talk about it. We've got plenty more WNBA breakdowns coming your way, so stay tuned and we'll see you in the next one.